All right, I think we're ready. Let's begin. Hello, everyone. Thank you for tuning in. We have another episode of working on this really cool app. And if you're tuning in now, if you don't know what we're building a flashcards app using Next.js and shadcn and Tailwind and Prisma and TypeScript and SQLite. So this is part of a workshop that I'm planning to do as part of my job. But it's a fun project to also have it in your portfolio, to your developer portfolio. So we've been streaming twice since the beginning of this week. I think we pretty much finished 50% of the UI. And let's see if we can manage to just build the whole app, finish the whole app today. Let's take that as a challenge. Hey, how's it going? Thanks for tuning in. All right, so let's dive in. We're gonna review a PR from Joe Malatesta. He's the intern in the DevRel team at Sentry. So he found a few issues with the project, and he took the time to make a PR. So we're gonna start by reviewing that PR, and then we're going to get into coding. All right, so Joe's PR updates the README file and also adds the DB, the dev DB to gitignore. So here's the gitignore file. He just adds the dev.db into the gitignore. So we don't actually push the dev DB, so people can actually run and create that file for themselves. Okay, so that's good. This is the updated README. And the first part stays. This whole block is deleted because this is how we ran the old app. And this is the new changes. So first you gotta run npm install, change .example.env to .env so that the environment variables can be picked up. Run npx prisma migrate reset, which is the action that the command that you need to run to generate the dev.db file and also invoke the seed function to pre-populate it with some dummy data. Then you need to create a Sentry account, and this is specifically for the workshop. Create a project and add the project DSN to the .env. Cool. And of course, finding bugs if you're finding bugs as you're testing. Yeah, this is all part of the workshop, but it's looking good. And then he also fixes a z-index issue that we had, which is described in this bug here, in this ticket. So when you scroll down, you can see that the navbar is below the contents of the table. Okay, so of course that looks bad. We need to fix that. But Joe also included a fix for it in this PR. So all of this is looking good. And here's the devdb being deleted from the repository. Yeah, this is looking good. LGTM looks good to me. And then we're merging, and we also should automatically close ticket number 2. Close as completed. Yeah. Fixed with, and we need to tag the PR. Yeah. Okay, cool. There we go. Now we can go back to the code and pull. Oh yeah, of course. I need to delete the changes to the devdb, and now I think we can pull. Nope, I actually need to push this, but it's all right. We'll do that. So last stream we had an issue. Let me comment this out, and I'll demonstrate what the issue was. Last stream we had an issue. When we created the categories, we're basically triggering handle submit, which invokes this server action, and then based on the result, it either errors or shows a success toasts, and it dismisses the dialog, but we didn't actually see that happening. Okay, so here's what happened. Let me add a new category, demo category. I'm running out of ideas. So when we hit create, there's nothing. There is no toast. There's literally nothing. Hold on, something's going on. Yeah, I probably need to reload because we did some changes to the database. Okay, there we go. Now when we actually create something, demo category, we can see demo category gets created here, but there's no feedback, there's no toasts, right? No, there's no success toast, there's also no error toasts. And that is because the form element itself triggers a page reload when there is no action and when it gets submitted. Okay, so if we don't do prevent defaults, it's going to reload. Hold on. It's going to reload our. It's going to reload our page, and that actually it kind of makes the dialog go away, but we still have the issue of not being able to show user feedback. So now, since we are preventing the default, if we hit refresh and create a new category and hit create, now we can see that category created toast at the bottom here. And this is exactly what we want, okay? So a page reload didn't happen, okay? And also this part right here in the URL, that's also fixed because there's no reload, right? Let's try that again. Let's try that again. Hit enter, we can see category created, but there is no URL change at the top. So that turns out that that's the default behavior of the form element. It won't be, it's not going to reload the page if we were using the action prop instead of the onSubmit. But in that case, we won't be able to execute JavaScript. So the action prop takes the whole form, prepares the form data, and sends the post request to the action, right? Whether that's a URL, or in this case, it's still going to be a URL, but it's going to be a server action that we create. But there is no opportunity to execute JavaScript, okay? And that is the onSubmit event. So if we just want to send data, action is good. If we don't need to execute JavaScript, if you don't need to provide that kind of a feedback, like a toast or something like that, action is okay. But if we want to do that, then we have to go with the onSubmit route, because that route allows us to create to execute JavaScript. But we also need to remember to prevent the default behavior of the form, because we'll see the page reload. And that was the case. That's why we couldn't actually show the toasts. So I'm going to push this, actually commit this. This is just putting the toast at the bottom center, nothing fancy. I'm going to revert the changes to the devdb and do fixing toast issue. And now we can synchronize. Oh, come on now. Let's pull. Yeah, I probably need to. Oh, okay. We haven't configured how we're going to be handling. Let's go with merge. There we go. Synchronize now. Beautiful. npm run dev, and we should be all set. Okay, so we review the PR. Interesting. I need to reload now because the PR actually removed devdb, so we need to do npx prisma migrate reset. There we go. Yes, please. Nice. npm run dev. And we're going to see the category table. There we go. With the dummy data. Okay. Next up, what we want to do now is we fixed the issue. We can provide feedback. Now just let's replicate the whole thing and apply it to editing a category, deleting a category, and then also do the rest of the operations for the flashcards, which is a create flashcard, update flashcard, and also delete flashcard. Cool. That's what we're going to do today. And hopefully we'll have enough time to also start on the practice screen. But we'll see. If not, we'll stream on Monday and we'll finish it on Monday. Okay. Check this out. Here's our actions file. And in this file, we're basically keeping all the server actions. This was the create category. I'm just going to copy paste this. I'm going to paste it here and make it an update category. Okay. So we'll have the name of the category, but we also want the category ID, because if you're updating the category, we want to know which category we're updating, right? We can get the ID from the form data, but just to be sure, the ID is actually a number. It's not actually a string. So we need to cast it as a number. I'm going to go to the Prisma folder. Actually, no, I'm going to, when was that? We had the SQLite open database, Prisma dev. There we go. Let me hide my camera. So in here, we can go right click, show table. So we want to, if we want to see the contents of the categories table. And as you can see, the ID is just a number, which is auto incrementing. It's unique to that specific category. So we need to cast this as a number. ToString is, we don't actually need that. If we get the ID in this case, it's going to be a form data entry value. Okay. Let's see. We have ToString. We have value of. Yeah. So we have to cast it as a string like this. But then recast it as a number, parse it as a number later on, because when we do the query, I believe we need to actually get it as a number. So in this case, we only need the ID and the name. And updating the category, because it only has a name, it just means get the name, regenerate the slug, okay, and then save it again. That's all there is. But just to be sure, I want to check the flashcards table and check the category. Yes, the category is still based on the ID. It's not based on the slug. The slug is there just to help us with the technically we're not using the slug in the categories section, but it's what we're showing in the URL. For example, when we're doing the practice, we don't want to show /practice/3. We want to show /practice/react, right? The URL is a bit friendlier if we are showing a slug instead of an ID. Okay, so here's the ID as a string, right? Let's now try to parse it. Parse int, beautiful. First validation, of course, thank you. So if there is no name, name is required, right? Because that's the only thing we're updating. I'm gonna do the same for the ID. And we're gonna say category is required because yeah, we don't know what we're updating. Or let's just say category ID is missing, okay? There we go. So now we can parse the ID as an integer and we can start doing a query. After parsing this, we need to check if the category exists, right? If we're updating it, we have to make sure that it exists. So existing category. Oh, we already have this. Okay. In that case, I'm just going to bring the slug down. Here's the ID. But we want to get category by ID now. There we go. If it doesn't exist, and this is going to happen now here, it's going to be the other way. If it doesn't exist, okay, that's not going to work. We need to do this. Category doesn't exist. We can't let the update happen if the category doesn't exist, right? So the category exists. All the data that's required is here. We can just regenerate the slug, and instead of create category, we want to do update. And the update category takes in 2 arguments. The first one is the ID, and the second one is the data. So we'll say ID, and the second one is the name and the slug. That's it. And then we want to revalidate the /manage screen and just return the category. And that's our function. It's very simple. So here's create category. We want to go into edit category dialog and basically do the same, right? On submit, create a local function handle submit, and let's be lazy and copy this over. Where's the create? There's the create category. Let's grab this. We're also gonna need to grab, convert this into a client component. Move the handle submit here. Do the update category here. And we can, there we go, import it from our actions. Toast is not defined. Let's just bring in toast from Sonar. And also the state management for opening and closing the dialog. So open is open. On close change, was it? On open change. Set open. There we go. I'm gonna remove this because we already did that. That was just for me to explain it during the stream. Yeah, this looks good. Handle submit, update the category. Let's just make sure that we're sending the data. And look at this now. We only have a name, right? We do have the category from the props. We need to pass the ID, okay? And we don't want to do it here. We can do this. We can just create a hidden input. And I think we use that. I think we've used the hidden input. Yeah, there we go. We're just gonna close this. Put it as the first element. It doesn't matter, but just we'll put it as the first element. And instead of selected category, we just want to say category.id because that is the category that we're updating, right? That is the ID, not category. And it's going to be hidden. Basically, it's the data is there, but there's nothing on the UI. That's the whole point. And we can try this now. Hold on, category created, category updated. Now we can try it. So I'm going to reload. Let's update Next.js. Instead of Next.js, let's just call it Next. We'll hit update. Category updated at the bottom. That's good. And this is just Next. Okay, so there it is. It's just Next.js. Cool. Delete is next. And you see how with server actions, you're basically flying through updating, not updating, but like creating features. I love that. Okay, there's the confirm category delete. With the delete, we only want an ID. That's all. So we'll go back to the actions. We'll build the action first. And then we're going to hook it up with the UI. In this case, I'm just going to steal the top part until the name validation. It's going to be delete category, okay, we won't have an ID. If the category ID is missing, then we'll return an error. Here's the ID parsing, and now we just need to check if there is an existing as well. Yeah, we need to check if there's an existing category. If there is not an existing category, then it doesn't exist, right? There's nothing to delete. So category doesn't exist. If everything's okay, we'll just do delete category, and it wants a slug for some reason, but it's okay because we have the existing category. Not slug, and that's it. And now we can just revalidate manage and return success true. And we're not going to be using this return anyways. So that is the actual function. This can be a form, so we don't do, you know, fetch requests, so we can set the action there. There's a delete, and this delete is going to be the it's going to be the button that triggers the form, and the form can actually be here. We don't need to wrap the whole alert dialog. I believe if we just do this, it should be okay, right? So on submit again, because we still want to show feedback, and they'll submit. We need the ID, so I guess we need to create that hidden input component. Let me grab it real quick from my other project. Hidden input, there it is. It's a really simple component that does exactly that. All right, components, UI. I'm just gonna create a new file, hidden-input.tsx. That's all. Through the props, we're accepting the name, the value, everything else is the same. So in this case, let's just remove this hidden input. The name is going to be the ID, and the value is going to be category, not ID, because we already have it. And the value needs to be a string, as you can see. Okay, so now it's string. So we have the input, we're sending the input there. We can, we should do the same for the rests. There's this. There's a hidden input in the delete, and we also want to do the same in the create. Actually, we don't have a create hidden input. So there it is. There's a form. This action needs to be an actual button. Can we do like type submit? Is there a type? Oh, there is type. Yeah. Let's just say type submit. That's all. We'll just reuse that button. Later, we're going to refactor this so that it uses the use form state hook to hook into the parent form and check its status. While the form is submitting, we want to show like a little spinner, you know? That's what we're going to be doing. And we can do that after, you know, creating all the server actions. Okay. Yeah. Alert, we'll do the same. As you can see, we already have a level of repetition, and it's okay. We can still keep this. But this is where we can start to think into, you know, maybe reusing some of these components that we're creating, but basically copy pasting. Use client, because we want this to be a client component. We're going to be doing JavaScript here. Import all the stuff that we're missing, and this is going to be a lead category instead. Cool. And now the alert dialog will be controlled via the state props, open is open, on open change, set open. That's all. Cancel is just cancel the confirmation, but this time we're actually hooked up, and I guess we can try deleting Node.js. Oh, there is a spacing issue here, and that's because we have a form right here. Can we say as child? No, we can't say as child. Okay. So what if I wrap the footer with a form? Is that gonna be fixing the issue? Yeah, that looks good. Okay, so when I hit delete, we're just gonna delete Node.js. Hit delete. There is an error. Okay. Foreign key constraint failed on the field. Ah, there we go. So we're deleting Node.js, but there are flashcards that are assigned to Node.js. What do we do with them? That's the issue. And if we're deleting a whole category, should we delete all of the flashcards with it? It is, I mean, this is not a soft delete. This is a hard delete. We're actually deleting stuff from the database. So I guess we can just cascade this, meaning if I delete Node.js, then all of the flashcards that point to Node.js, they'll also be deleted. Basically, you know, move on to the pending table and do the same operation, delete on those fields. So let's do that. You know, because we're hard deleting the category. Let's just hard delete all the other flashcards, because we'll have an issue there. If the flashcards are still connected to the category, we need to do something to them, right? So let's just delete them for now. And we'll also update the modal to say that if you're deleting, you know, this, then you're also deleting all the flashcards. So be careful with this operation. Let's Google for Prisma cascade delete. Let's see how we handle these things. There we go. Where the reference is defined, the relation. At the end, we can see there's an on delete cascade. So that's exactly what we want. And here's the category, basically. Let's see. There's a post, there's a user, and on delete cascade. And this means deleting the user will also delete all the related post records. This is exactly what we want. So on delete cascade. Now we need to create a new migration because we changed that field, and redo the migrations. So npx prisma migrate new, was it? No, migrate def. Yeah. Cascade delete flashcards. There we go. Let's go and check it out now. Cascade delete flashcards contains a migration where, oh, it has a new flashcard. It adds this constraint on delete cascade, on update cascade as well. And then it drops the flashcard, it recreates it renames the new flashcard into flashcards, and then it creates the index. Okay, that's how Prisma handles migrations. It's now in sync with your schema. Cool. I don't think we need to run the migrations, I think, because it says your database is in sync. So we can just do npm run dev and reload, and we should be able to delete the category and all the flashcards. But let's just update this alert. This will permanently delete the category and all, it's not posts, but flashcards. And I want to put this in a strong tag. Oh, this is terrible. There we go. So it should look like this. What else we have? What is TypeScript? Yeah, let's delete TypeScript. And we should see these flashcards disappear. Delete. And all its flashcards. Cool. Say delete. There we go. Easy. Okay. That was easy. So we have update and we have delete, and we're pretty much done with the categories. Let's do the same for the flashcards. Same 3 operations. Create, update, and delete. But I'm going to push all of these changes now. Finished categories operations. There we go. Now let's move on to the categories. And we're going to be stealing a lot of the code from the categories. So this is the create one. I'm going to put it here. And let's see. We need these. We really should create a component out of this because we keep repeating ourselves. Bring in the toasts, and this is going to be create flashcard, and then we'll pass in the data. This still doesn't exist, but we'll create it. Dialog needs to be controlled. Open is open. On open, change, set open. And now we need the form. There's the form, create flashcard. There is a button, I believe, for that form, and that's okay. So on submit to the form, handle, submit, and that's it. I'm going to close this now. Flashcard updated, created, sorry, and then we need to create the action. So let's go into the actions file. I'm going to copy the same create category and call it create flashcards. And we also need to make notes of all of the values that we're sending. So we're sending the question, the answer, and the category through with the ID. Okay, let's call that category ID. Or let's just call it category. We need to parse it as an integer later, so we'll call it category ID later. There's the category with that ID, and that's all. So in here, question. There's a typo here. Yeah, I can select it now. Answer. And category. There we go. We need to do the validation. All 3 of the form values are required. Question is required. This can also be a function. So we don't have like if, you know, we can just pass the whole form values, validate the data for us, or we can even use Zod or, you know, other libraries like that. Zod is really very good. But yeah, for now, we'll just do it. We'll just go by foot, basically. There's the answer, and there's also the category ID. Just category. We can't have a flashcard that is not assigned to a specific category. So we have everything now. We'll create the slug from the question. Okay. But before we do that, I want to parse the category ID, parse integer, and check for an existing category. I was going to say that it exists, already exists, and that's all right. If it doesn't exist, we'll say category not found. Okay. Now we can start with, generating the slug. We don't need this part right here. We don't need to create the category. We need to create the flashcard. So flashcards, there we go. Helpers.create flashcard, that's already there. And instead of a category ID, it's just category. It is category. I'm not sure what type it is. Okay, what's the issue? Number is not, there's no properties in common with the type. Category create nested one without flashcard inputs. Okay, so this is basically the whole category, most likely, which is the existing category. No, it's actually not. Let's pick at the type. Oh, there we go. Create, connect, or create, or just connect. Yeah, exactly. I remember now. This is basically an object that gives you an option to also create a category if the category doesn't exist, right? And this is cool in other use cases, but not in ours. We don't want to connect or create. We just want to connect, right? We don't need to create anything. And yeah, this is how it's done. The category is going to be connected to the category that has this ID. And there's also the slug. So we have question, answer. We generate the slug out of the question. We hook up the category, and that's basically it, right? There's our flashcards. Let's just return our flashcard, revalidate /manage, and that's all. I believe we can try this out now. What is JSX? What is DOM? What is virtual DOM? Do we have anything on hooks? We don't. What are hooks? Hooks, let's say, are React functions that allow you to reuse common logic between components. Let's say, keep it as simple as possible. We'll set this to React. We already have toasts in place. Let's see if that works. Beautiful. Flashcard created. And look at that. What are hooks? So we can create flashcards now. We're moving on. We're flying through this feature. We're going to the updates now. Edit flashcards. And I'm just going to open the edit category. So we can just, steal a bunch of our other code and just move everything here. But this is definitely, I keep saying it, but this is definitely worthy of a refactor. Open is set to open, on open change is set to set open. Now we need the form. Beautiful. We need the on submit, handle submit. And what is here? We need now we need the hidden input to also pass the flashcard ID. We didn't have that before. Hidden input, the name is going to be ID and the value is going to be flashcards.id. Of course, it wants to be a string because it's an input. There we go. We have the question, we have the answer, we have the new category there, and then we have an update. Cool. In here, we need to bring in the toasts. And instead of update category, we'll just pass update flashcards. It doesn't exist for now. So let's go and create it. I'm going to use the create flashcard now. Update flashcards. We'll still accept these things, and also the ID. We'll start with the ID. If we don't have the ID, we don't want to go further down. Hey, thanks for joining, Imperium. Man, I need some water. And there's also the category. Well, it's not required. Updates shouldn't require all of these items, right? If there's a question, then we'll pass it. That's it. We only need the flashcard ID. If we want to update the answer but not the question, we can require the question. Or if we want to update the question but not update the answer, we can't, we can require the answer as well. So let's see this. We don't need the category now. We can actually check this. Do you design? Yeah, well, it's shadcn, We just reuse the existing components. We don't need to complicate this. Here's the thing. Let's try this. Okay. We want to see if the form values. Beautiful. Thank you, wife. All right. If we have an existing category, right? Form values dot category. We'll do that inside. If we have a category, I'm not sure if we should do this here, or let's think about it. What I'm trying to do is basically, if we have a fields data for a category, but that category does not exist, we don't want to go further down. That's all. But if we do, we want to set that value to the existing category, because we're gonna need to connect it. We don't actually need. Yeah, we can do this here. Okay, so category ID, parse it, existing category, try to find it. If it doesn't exist, return category doesn't exist. Okay, that's all. Now we can remove this. The stream is an IDE and thumbnails or designs are consistent. Oh, cool. Yeah, thank you. I want to try the same. Do it. It's very easy. Okay, so if we're changing the question, we want to regenerate the slug, right? But before we move on, hold on. We're updating a flashcard. First and foremost, we want to grab the flashcard from the database, the existing one, and see if it exists. If not, we can throw. If it does exist, then we're going to create a new object that's going to pull the data from the form values, and if it doesn't exist, it's going to pull the data from the database, right? Check this out. Existing flashcards equals await helpers get flashcard by ID form values.id. We need to parse it now, right? Oh, it doesn't exist now. Let's go to the helpers. Get flashcards is based on the slug. Yeah, let's just create a new by ID, and instead of a slug, we're going to accept an ID, which is going to be a number, and we'll just say ID. That's all. Now we have it, but we need to parse it. There we go. So here's the existing flashcard. Does it exist? We don't care. There's nothing to update, right? And then we'll move on. Does it have a category? Yeah, try it. Is the new category that we're trying to update, does it exist? No, it doesn't exist, Okay. Then we have that. Now we're going to be doing this. So check this out. I'm going to create a new update data object. It's going to have the question form values dot question or existing flashcard dot question. This means that if the form values contains a question, that's going to be the new question. Otherwise, we'll just use the old one, right? We'll do the same for the answer. And then also for the slug. So check this out. If form values question exists, we want to slugify it, right? And we want to wrap this. If not, we'll just reuse the old slug, right? So if this gets accepted as the new one, then the first condition is gonna be happen. If the question does not exist, then we'll just reuse the existing one. And that's how we're also reusing the slug. Question, answer, slug, and the category should be the new one. But we're gonna connect the category. Category connect ID is parse it. Oh, hold on a second. If it does exist, then we're parsing this. Why is it complaining now? It can't be undefined, right? Oh well, the form value doesn't exist. This is just TypeScript. Come on, what are you doing? This is just TypeScript being confused. If we don't have the value in form values, then we won't be able to find an existing category. And if we don't find an existing category, this is going to be an early return, right? But what if there is no category? Okay, there we go. There we go. That's the thing. We have the slug, we have everything. Well, we can just do if form values dot category. If we're here and if we have passed the new category and then we know that it exists first and foremost, right? We can say that, right? Maybe we can like put this down now, actually. Yeah. I think it's gonna make more sense if we have it below the update data, so that if it doesn't exist, we're gonna do an early return. If not, we'll say update data.category is connect, beautiful, is connect, and pass the category ID. And the update data is going to be of a certain type, and the type already exists. We just need to fetch it. So create flashcard. We need the update flashcard, and here's the data. Flashcards. This is the type. We need that type for the update data. Nope, that's not the type. This is the type. We need to bring in Prisma, flashcard update input, and now this error is also gone because that type knows the category. It knows the connect. There's also the other fields are here. Cool. This is also done, right? We're creating the update data. If we have a new category, we also want to relink it and link it to the new category. If it doesn't exist, then we want to throw, and basically that's all. All we need to do now, instead of create flashcard, we want to say update flashcard, and this whole block is going to be update data because we have already created this, and an ID, of course. And how do we call the ID? Existing. Oh, we're parsing this inline. Okay, then let's do that. Existing flashcard dot ID. That is not how you spell flashcards. Flashcards. Existing flashcard ID, update date, data. That's all. This is the updated flashcard, and we want to return that back to the client. So we're here. We want to just bring in update flashcard, and let's try it out now. I'm going to update one of these, okay? The virtual DOM is a lightweight React's lightweight copy of the actual DOM. It can stay in React. Let's hit update and nothing happens. Edit flashcard dialog. On submit, handle submit, update. Why is nothing happening? Let's try that again. And I'm also going to open the network tab just so we can see if things are happening. Not security. Sources. Let me just close the other ones. There we go. So let's just get here. Okay. Yeah. So I think it's the button now. There's the form, update flashcards. This is edit. Okay. There we go. So this needs to be the same. If this is edit flashcard dialog, we should keep the edit and update the updates to edit. Now I don't need this breakpoint because we have confidence that this is going to work. Where is JavaScript? Let me just, what is JS? Hit update, category updated. Okay, we need to update the toast. But what is JS? There we go. We already have it updated. Cool. Let's go back and do, instead of category updated, we want to do flashcard updated. There we go. Let's also update this one. JS is a programming language. Hit update. There we go. JS is a programming language. I'm going to put this into the React category. Hit update. Flashcard updated. Hit reload. If I open edit, there we go. We are in React. So everything is looking good. What is JavaScript? And that was escape. So I didn't actually do anything. Okay, let's move on to the delete. And that would be the last operation that we want to do. Confirm flashcard delete. I'm going to keep the actions here. And I'm going to bring in the category confirm. So I can just reuse as much of the code as we can. There's that. There's that. Open is set to open. On open change. Set open. Beautiful. Bring in use state. This is going to be delete flashcards. And we'll create that action in a moment. Flashcard, not created, deleted. Did it say created? Yeah. Okay. Category deleted. This is the, yeah. We're going to create that. We need a form now. And the form was wrapping the footer like so. There it is. Close the form. And the action had a type submit. So it actually, you know, triggers the submit. Cool. Let's go and create the delete. Export async function. You know what? I'm just gonna bring this. I'm gonna bring in delete category. We only have the ID. If it doesn't exist, we're gonna parse it, and that's all. And then delete it, and that's all. Yeah, this is going to be delete flashcard. It's gonna have the ID. Flashcard ID is missing. There's the ID. Existing flashcard. If it doesn't exist, return flashcard not found. Delete the flashcard based on the slug. Revalidate. Return success true. Beautiful. Copilot is really smart. get this here, hit refresh. Let's do the virtual DOM or JSX. Yeah, let's kill JSX. You don't see it here, but here we go. Delete. Are you sure you want to delete what is JSX? Yeah. Bam. Flashcard ID is missing. So we kind of, tested that the error is actually happening. And because we need this now, hidden input, name is going to be the ID, the value is going to be like a string, flashcard.id. That's all. So copy this now. What are hooks? Yeah, let's delete hooks then. Are you sure you want to delete what are hooks? Flashcards. This will permanently delete the flashcards. Okay. We have the category and the flashcard, but this is just deleting the flashcard. So hit delete. Flashcard is deleted and we can see that it's gone. Okay. All operations are done. We have 2 hours to finish the practice screen. That's going to be fun. But first, we're going to push all of this. Finished flashcards operations. Basically, we have all the data now, right? We have all the functionality to, even remove the seed data, but we'll keep it just in case. We'll keep it just in case. You can see here, you can create new categories, you can create new flashcard, and it's all gravy. Let's try one more. Categories. Streaming, okay? Let's go with streaming. Category created, there it is. Let's create a new flashcard, and we'll set it to the streaming category. Beautiful. How to stream. Yo, John, welcome to YouTube, right? Use desktop app called OBS, Open Broadcast Studio, to capture your camera, screen, and microphone and stream it to YouTube's RTMS, was it? URL, let's just say YouTube's streaming service. Hit create. There we go. How to stream to YouTube. Use a desktop app called OBS. Beautiful. From the gym again? Man, you're working on the gym. I admire you, man. That is awesome. Okay, we have all of the functionalities now. We can delete. Let's confirm that again. We'll delete the streaming category, and we should also see the last flashcard disappear as well. Hit delete and all of its flashcards. Bam. That's all. We're done with this whole manage screen, and I think it's also, let's see, I think it's also responsive. I mean, not sure how much responsive is it. You can see things are getting squished at this point. So let's just update that breakpoint. We'll use the lower breakpoint, or actually the higher breakpoint. Yeah. Let's go to the manage page, and we have MD flex row. Instead of that, let's just use large so that we can break into column a lot, on a more wider screen. Yeah, this is where the break is gonna happen, and I guess it's all right. The only concern that I have right now is truncating some of the values. For example, we can see that there's like 4 lines here, and 4 lines is not a major thing. Yeah, I mean, it's looking amazing. Yeah, 4 lines is okay, but what if someone decides to, get in and do a whole essay, a whole markdown file? We need to account for that. But I'm gonna leave that. I'm gonna leave that to either Joe or any one of you who are watching this stream and feels encouraged to fix this, or any other UI bugs that you can see. So yeah, check it out. If you want to fix it, cool. If not, we'll just swing by the end before we are done with this project, and we'll just do all of these UI fixes together. Okay, practice. This is gonna be fun. This requires you to select a category, I think, and then select the cat. You know what? I want to try it somehow. But I guess I'm just gonna go on YouTube because I have a course called Sentry Next.js Distributed Tracing, and in this course I'm actually showcasing how the app looks like. Okay, here's the old app. I'm actually gonna hide my camera as well. I should have zoomed in first and foremost, but on the left side we can see manage and practice. We have it at the top now. This is the flashcards screen, and this is the categories. So this was like a list with a toggle at the top where you can like click on categories, you'll see the categories list. Click on flashcards, you'll see the flashcards lists. But I'm more interested in looking at there we go, the practice. So we're going to the practice. We are selecting a category. So we're basically listing all the categories here. We're selecting a category, and a flashcard is going to appear here. This is only the question. I really should have zoomed in on this screen, but yeah, here's the question. It shows you a little, like a little counter here, 1/3. That means this is the first question of all 3 questions that belong to this category. And this is an eye icon, like a little eye. The eye button, when you click on it, it reveals the answer. And that's how you practice. That's how you learn through flashcards. You see that? There was even a little animation that flips the card, and the I button turns into a next question button. Okay, so that is a crucial functionality. We have to have the flipping, maybe not the animation. It doesn't really care, you know, we don't really care if it's like a flipping animation or a fade out and fade in animation. Any of that is going to work, but we need a way to present only the flashcard, only the question. Hit the button to reveal the answer, and then hit another button to go to the next question. So at the end, when you finish answering all of them, there's even a little confetti, I think. Let's see. Oh, come on, Lazar. Lazar in the past. I didn't demo this. Okay, yeah. There was like a little confetti at the end. To just, you know, tell you that you're done with the category. So we can do something like this, right? The only thing that we want to do is select the category that we want to practice, and then just start displaying this. There's also like a little you see this, there's also a little shuffle button, but we can incorporate that in here. This is like too further away and it's not really visible, but we'll put that where, you know, along with the options of picking a category. We'll keep it there. We'll show up the flashcard with the question, and I'm thinking of this. Check this out. Let's go to UI.shadcn. I think you're gonna say this is making so much sense. Here's the flashcards, or even like laid down together like a grid. Yeah, maybe that can be like an interesting thing. Yeah, I was thinking about this. This is a question, right? When you click on it, there's the answer. So like a flashcard can be an accordion in a way, and this is gonna be I believe the easiest and the laziest solution that will also work in our case of revealing the answer. And we just need to listen to the event of, you know, opening the accordion. When we open the accordion, we'll just have a button called next question. That would be it. I guess that would be the laziest way to go about this. We just need to control the accordion. That's all. It's going to have one item. The trigger is going to be the question. The content is going to be the answer. And it's going to be controlled. I believe it has like an on open, set open, something like that. So that when it gets opened, we actually show the next button, or we enable the next button. And it's just going to be a card. It's going to be a card component. It looks like this. It doesn't have a title. It'll have the accordion here. Something like that, you know? Or it can have the question as the title, because I like the, you know, the letters are bigger. You can, you know, read it easier and understand it and answer it. And then the accordion is going to be inside, which will just say reveal question. You click on it, it gets revealed, and the next button will get enabled. That's all. But I guess somewhere above, we're going to create like a little bar where you're going to select, you know, a category, and click the checkbox if you want to shuffle them or not, something like that, you know. Let's go. That sounds like a plan. So what do we do here? Oh yeah, we fixed this little UI bug. Higher breakpoints in manage page. FYI, you should be writing better commit messages. These are not good commit messages. Cool, we're done here. Let's go into the practice. Practice, just say h1 practice. We already have the card. Let's also bring in the accordion now. Installing accordion, npm run def again. And we're going to create a card. Let's go to practice. Yeah, center everything. We're going to have a little bar with like a, it's going to look like this, like the navigation bar, but it's going to be in the, it's going to like float. We'll put it there, and we'll put the drop down of selecting a category. We'll put the checkbox for, or like a toggle button for shuffle or not. And we're going to, I guess we need like a restart session, something like that, you know? Yeah. Cool. So this is going to be a div. The page puts everything on the left. So we need a flex that goes into the column, you know, direction. It's going to say items center and align start or top. No, justify start. So we want to start at the top, top center. Let's just put hello, just so we can see if we have the positioning correct. There we go. We're at the top. So in here, we'll create that little bar, and I guess we can use the card component for that. I mean, the card is a bit more complex, but yeah, let's just use the card component. There we go. Card component. And inside, we're going to outline all of these. So first, we want to grab all of the categories, right? And because this is a page, the pages are server components, unless we make them client components, but they are server components. We can say export default async function right here and just grab the category. So const categories equals await helpers, because we have helpers. Where are they? Let's go to manage actions. Helpers come from Prisma helpers. So helpers dot get categories. and get us all of the categories, right? And then inside, we want to have the drop down, was it? Not a data picker, drop down menu. No, it was not a drop down menu. It was something else. Select. Yeah. I don't think we have select. Let's add the select. npm run dev again. We're gonna drop the select in here. How do we use the select? Oh, there's a select trigger and select content. Okay, so it's not self-closing. From components, select the trigger, and select trigger has a class name, and there's like values inside, and the values are going to be, oh, it's a select value, placeholder theme. Okay, yeah, select value. The contents is going to be the thing, and this is going to be a self-closing one. Placeholder, select category, for example. Yeah. And then we also have the select content. And inside, we're going to map through all the categories and create an item for each of the categories. It has a value and it has text inside. So categories dot map. Well, let's get the whole category. We're going to say select item. Category dot name. Value is going to be category dot let's go with ID, I guess. And we also need a key, and in this case category dot slug, just in case. And this needs to be a string probably. So there it is. If we go back to the practice session, practice screen, we should see a card here. Select category, there it is. Beautiful. And this needs to be a client component now. And it needs to feed into the other client components, right? Because the select has a value, has a certain value. So when we start the practice, we want to grab that value and, pass it in the practice component. And the value comes from the screen. That means it needs to be a client component. Cool. This does not work as expected. I think I need to use card content or something like that. Yeah. Content, because I believe content is going to add some padding around the select. Yeah, see? It's not pretty, but it's there. It works. We'll make it pretty. So class name equals, that would be items center now. Or not. Maybe it's not even a flex box. Yeah, it's not a flex box. So let's make it a flex box. Oh, it has a certain padding around it. Well, in that case, okay. Maybe it's not this. I would still keep it though. And I would just say P6. So we can have it here. Because we'll have other stuff right here. There's the select category. And we need to grab this. By the way, yeah, we need to grab this whole thing and pass it in a component. But their parent component needs to be a client component as well, because we need to hoist the state of selecting a category, or we can just like inline it. But then, yeah, this is going to be interesting. So this is the page. We're grabbing the categories from the database in the server component, and all we need to do is just pass them down. Okay, that's all. So this is the practice page, but let's say practice session.tsx, and this is going to be that client component, right? It's going to take in the categories. It's going to return all of this basically, this whole block. There it is. We'll bring in the imports. This one is just going to return a practice session and pass the categories down. That's all. And I'm just going to grab these and place them here, and everyone is happy. Okay. Man, what is going on? Okay, so now we are in the browser. We're in the client component. We can bring in state variables. We can bring in JavaScript. We can bring everything. So I'm going to use state from React because we want to track a selected category. Okay. And it's not going to be that. Actually, yeah. The value is going to be the ID as a number, but instead of doing that, I'm actually going to pass the slug, and I believe the select will have a default value, of course, and the default value is going to be the first category, right? Dot slug, because it needs to match the value that is here. And we want to handle this on value change. There we go. So we'll grab the slug, right? And we need to loop through the categories and set the whole category. So we'll say set selected category, categories dot find. Let's just go with C. C.slug equals slug, right? And it has to exist because that's all that we're rendering. We're rendering the categories. If we click on one of the select items, then it has to be part of the categories, right? It's the same data set. And the value after changing it is going to be the selected category dot slug. That's all. And it's not going to be null, actually. It's going to be categories 0, first element. This is going to break if there are no categories. So we need to take, we need to have that into account. But we can do that on a server level. That's where we're getting the categories. If there are no categories, we should return, instead of a practice session, we should return like an empty state. There are no categories. If there are no categories, there are no flashcards. If there are no flashcards, you can't really practice nothing, right? Go ahead and create something. But that's one more thing, that anyone can open a PR and do if they want. If not, we'll just circle back at the end and do it at the end. Okay, there's the cards. We are controlling the practice session. Let's see. Yeah, you see that? There's like a little... Yeah. There's like a little layout shift there. I'm not sure why, though. Let's open the network tab and see what's going on. Yeah, I guess the page returns immediately. Should see the RSCs here. Okay. Let's do this then. Instead of doing this, practice session, because this is the page. Maybe we should create, we're going to create a different component where that is going to be like suspended. Oh, actually, wait a minute. Loading.js. That's all we need. Not JS, but like TSX, but Next.js for the pages, because you're not using the pages as components. You can suspend them. You can wrap them in a suspense. That's why loading.js exists. So here's what we're gonna do. Export default function. We'll just say loading. And we're going to return a little spinner. Okay, we can go the extra mile and build like a skeleton if we want. We can actually try that. Yeah, check this out now. I'm gonna go to practice session. This select is going to have a max width of 200 pixels. What's wrong now? Oh, it's probably the select trigger. Yes. So we know that the width is gonna be full at max 200 pixels. So the card that shows up here, we're going to basically get it and put it into the loading screen, you know? It's gonna look something like this. Let's bring in the cards. Actually, yeah, let's bring in the cards. The card content. And now we need a skeleton, and the shadcn library has a skeleton component. The skeleton component is basically this, you know, like a little animated thingy. And skeletons, you can like basically build any type of UI with them. So let's bring in the skeleton. I think it's gonna be fun building this because I've never used the skeleton library, the component before. So we have the card inside. Now we want to pull in the skeleton and add some class names to it. And it's basically just, you know, define the size, define if you want to be rounded or not, but that's it. It handles its own animation inside. So we want to mimic this part right here, you know. So the skeleton is going to inherit this class name of the selected trigger. The width is full, but at maximum it's going to be 200. We also need to specify the height, which is 40. Which is going to be 10. So here's that. Height is going to be 10. And let's see if it matches. Nothing happens. Interesting. I thought that we were supposed to see the loading screen there. Let's see. Loading UI, there should be a loading JS, loading skeleton. And there's a suspend around the page. No, that's not how it works. Automatically wrap the page and any children below in a suspense boundary. Exactly. Let's do this now. I just want to see. We're getting the categories, but let's like wait. We don't have the wait functionality, right? From the utils. Probably not. I'm going to bring that in from a different project of mine. CLS. There's utils. There's the wait. I just need that. And then we'll go to utils, array color. Shuffle array. Yeah, this is the shuffle array that we're going to be using to shuffle all the cards. Not sure about these functions. I think we're just going to drop these. And then let's just do, I don't know, wait.ts, export it. We don't want anything fancy. I just need to wait for like a couple of seconds to see if the skeleton shows up. But it doesn't. So why is that? We are in the practice screen. This is the page. It's asynchronous. Oh, wait. Sorry about that. Let's see now. There we go. You see that loading indicator, but it doesn't, it's like super white. So what we're missing is this part right here. Because if we don't, the card is just going to span across the whole width. Weird. Flex call, items center, justify starts. I guess this needs like a certain width. Yeah. And this is gonna change. Now it has a max width, but it pushes on it. You see that? That's because the padding is here. And 6 times 4 is 24. 24, double 24 is 48. 200 minus 48, 152. Yeah, this is bad. But it kind of works. I can still see some differences. Did I do that correctly? 200 minus 48, 152. Well, then it's like, it's a bit wide. A bit wider? No, it's a bit. No, it actually is a bit tighter. Let's see. More. 160. Yeah, this is bad. We don't want to be doing this, but then I guess when we have the full bar, we can, you know, we can fix that. But the loading is actually working. That's all we needed to see. But it's we don't see the loading anymore without that wait. That's weird. We'll circle back to it. I'm not sure why we're getting the categories through the props. We have a loading, and this component should be I think it's about, yeah, it is about lazy loading. So practice session is a client component. It's not being lazy loaded, so it's being immediately drawn. We need to have a different server component in between to make this work. Check this out. Export. I'm not going to export this, but this is going to be async function practice, like this. We'll do this, the same thing that happens inside. But here's what I'm going to do. We're going to wrap this with a suspense. Bring in suspense from React and define a fallback. And the fallback is going to be this loading thingy. That's what we're going to be doing. Bring in the card, bring in the content, and also bring in the skeleton and delete the loading file because we're not going to be needing that. So the server component is now asynchronous. We are rendering that directly from the page. There it is. And whenever this request finishes loading, that's when we're going to render the practice session. Okay, let's see if I'm right. I'm not right. That component should have been like lazy loaded or something like that. Really gonna learn Next.js. Yeah, that's the point. That's the point. But this is weird. See, it doesn't work as I wanted it to work. There's a fallback here. This is an async function. It returns a client component. We can't seem to suspense this. Even if we add, let's see, a wait. Even if we add wait for a second, you see that? Bam. It still does that little, still does that. But I guess we'll figure it out later. We'll see what's happening. Yeah. Looks like there is no, there are no categories. And therefore, that's what's happening. But in this case, I would just return this whole block, remove the suspense. Actually, yeah, return this. No need for suspense, no need for a skeleton, no need for nothing. This is, we'll keep it simple as much as we can. Does it do this? Yes, it does, but that's all. Now let's actually, start working on the session. We have the card here. We have the select. We can control the select. We need a shuffle button. And it needs to be a toggle button. I'm not sure if shadcn had like a toggle. It does have a toggle. Nice. Yeah, that's all we need. And we can keep it like this, like an outline toggle. Now it's on, now it's off. Yeah. And it's a separate component, so let's bring it in. npm run dev. Aside from the selects, we want to track another of these selected category. Where is, oh, there we go. Shuffle says shuffle. There we go. We don't need the boolean here because we can see there's a false here. It's explicitly being said. So after the select, we're going to add the toggle. But let's see how we can use this first. The toggle has a variant, a label, an area label, and then an icon inside. Beautiful. So variant is going to be outline. The area label is going to be, and this is for screen readers, shuffle cards. And inside, do we have a shuffle icon? We do have a shuffle icon. Yeah, beautiful. This one also had like a width and height. Yeah, let's reuse the class name as well. So if we go back, hit refresh, we should see the shuffle button there. There is no gap between these two, so we can go to the card content and add the gap. And the gap can be, I don't know, 24 pixels. Yeah. Choose the category, enable shuffling. I think when we hover on this, there should be like a little tooltip, but a native tooltip. If there is not, there is not. Okay. Let's also bring in the tooltip now, because I feel like that's important. Oh, that was a toast. Sorry, I was like waiting for a tooltip to show. There it is. We want that. So let's also bring in tooltip. And we're going to wrap the toggle with that tooltip. I think that's how it worked. On open, delete, default. Wait, what is the... Oh, there we go. There's a provider, there's a tooltip, there's a trigger, there's a content. Yeah, it's a whole thing. Well, in this case, we want to use the tooltip provider. The tooltip trigger is going to be the toggle button. What's my VS Code config? I feel like I had it somewhere. Maybe. Or maybe not. Let's create one then. Slugify. Let me see all of the... I have the key bindings here. And I'm going to put the modal... Let's see. VS Code user setting. But this was from 6 years ago. Cobalt 2. Yeah, I need to update this. So let's just go to this one. Edit it out. And update it. 6 years ago. That is wild. Here's the config that I have. And if you go to my Gist account, I'm not sure you can, so I'm just gonna... Well, you actually can, yeah. And you can check the key bindings as well if you want. Yeah, you got it. Key bindings, and yeah. I recorded a YouTube video about the key bindings if you want to check it out though. Here it is. It's like how to turn VS Code into like a NeoVim configuration with the key bindings and everything. It works really well with the Vim extension. If you're using Vim, you should definitely check the video out. Let me actually share it with you. All right, let's move on. Tooltip. We have the trigger set on the toggle, and then we have tooltip content. And this is just shuffle, that's all. Okay, so there we go. Tooltip goes here. Yeah. What is going on? There is definitely something weird going on. Why are we even rendering hydration issues? Interesting. Interesting. See that? This is probably the tooltip. Provider, tooltip trigger, tooltip content. Provider, tooltip trigger, tooltip content. That's all. We pretty much did the same. And here's the tooltip. But I guess it's a... It might be the trigger. Let's do an S-child. Yeah, it was that. So it's basically wrapping... The trigger is a button itself, right? And because the toggle is also a button, it's putting a button inside of a button, you know, just so the tooltip can be activated on the outer button, but the inner button is the actual toggle. We don't want that. And that's why we added S-child. So the tooltip trigger component doesn't wrap the toggle with a different button and put the tooltip on that one, you know? So now we don't have a button inside of a button, and we don't have the hydration error as well. Beautiful. There we go. We can select these. There's like a little shift, a layout shift. That means we might need to hard code the width of the selects. This is going to be better. It's definitely going to be better. So instead of doing this, let's just set the width to 200. There we go. So we wanna control the toggle. Let's say on what is the toggle value if we want to control it. There has to be. Toggle primitive root. Class name, variant, size, props, and that's all. But it's probably in part of the props. Toggle props, pressed, default pressed, and on pressed change. That's what we need to overwrite. Pressed is going to be shuffle. On pressed change is going to be just set shuffle, right? Nice. And that's all, I think. Let's go back, hit reload. Oh, come on now. What is the on-press change? Does it work? It does work. Unbelievable. We need to debug this using the components. There's a button. I want the actual toggle. This one. So the actual toggle will contain props. Pressed is false now. If we click on it. Oh, look at that. Now it's See, that is wild. Just click on it once and it's true. Click on it again, false. Click on it, true. So it does work, but it doesn't reflect the state. It doesn't say that it's actually pressed. See? But if we're changing this, it doesn't make sense. I like this. Look how good it looks like. But I guess we have to handle that. Yeah. Probably with a class name. It shouldn't be like that though. We're basically recreating the whole component. You see? It's hover is BG accent. So yeah. Like if you use it on its own, what if I just do on press change, but not, you know, not do the value there? Nope, doesn't matter. What if I do nothing? Are we going to see? So it doesn't actually work. Okay, there must be a bug in the library itself. No big deal. Check this out. All we need to do is class name. I mean, it is manual, but still. We're going to bring in the cn function that merges different class names and allows us to conditionally set classes. And check this out. We're going to set bg accents if shuffle is on, right? Look at this now. Let me zoom in. The background is white right now. We click on it. It stays with the accent color because it's on. It's clicked, right? It's shuffling. Now it's not shuffling. Now it is shuffling. That's all. We kind of, you know, built our own toggle. For example, if I replace this as a button and instead of, you know, pressed and unpressed change, just did on click, it's going to work anyways. But we'll keep it as a toggle because maybe in future the bug will be fixed. So we wouldn't have to do this. But that's basically how you would go around, you know, this case and just, you know, manually set the background. We have the value anyways. We have the tooltip. All we need is just the background to give us an idea if, you know, we're shuffling or not. But that's all. So here's the tooltip. Here's the shuffle. We're controlling everything. We need to have like a start button maybe that turns into a restart. Yeah, And we can put that here next to it. So in this case, this is not going to be called a practice session. It's going to be just called practice. Practice. Yeah. Practice. Because the session itself is going to be the cards at the bottom. It's going to take in the category. We're going to fetch all of the, so that's an interesting stuff. So we're picking the category, but we also need to ship all of the flashcards, and that can be weird. You know, if everything is on the client side, sure, we can just do a fetch. I guess we have to do that. We're gonna fetch the flashcards, but only for that specific category when we hit the play button. Okay, that's where we can like put a little spinner while we're fetching the flashcards, and then we'll show the first card. That's all. Let's do that now. So I want to add another one of these with a tooltip provider, with everything here. But it's not going to be a toggle button. It's going to be just a regular button, you know? Regular button. Outline is good, okay. Start practice session. And there's not going to be a class name here. Instead of a shuffle, we'll say play from Lucid React. Start practice session. There we go. The button also needs to, there's like an icon button. Or maybe it was, let's see. Variant, outline, size, icon. There we go. Yeah, these two are now the same. You would pick your category, shuffle or not, and you hit play. When you hit play, there's gonna be like a little spinner right here that will fetch the, for example, Tailwind CSS flashcards, and it'll show the first flashcards, and then display will turn into like a restart, you know, either a restart or we can like keep it like that. When you change the category and hit play, we'll just, you know, we'll just restart the session with that category. So that's all. That's all we need to do. Down here we have the cards, right? Below the card is where we're going to be showing that component. So let's do this now. This is gonna be interesting. First, we don't have a session started, right? That means we don't have a component showing. When we show the component, we want to show the, when we start the session, we want to show the component. And that's when we want to also show the loading thingy, the suspense. So let's see that. I'm gonna go to the Next.js. I know that we need to be using suspense, but there's like a use keyword that we can use to provide the suspense boundary with the actual like promise, and have that happen on the client side. I guess that would be the case. That just means we need two components. One is the session and the other one is the actual cards. So here's what we're going to do. I'm going to create a new component here called session.tsx, okay? Function session. This is going to get a category. Right? We are selecting the category, we hit play, and then we render a session with the selected category. in here, we need to say the flashcards promise equals, and it's not going to be fetch now. Should we use an endpoint handler in this case, or should we use a server action? It's not an action, it's a get. So we should create an endpoint here. Let's do that. But let's see how we can do that in Next.js. So routing, and we should look at route handlers. Okay. So we need, it's like API. Defaults to auto. If we want to force this as a dynamic, we just do that. Okay. Get request. Let's do that. We can't have a route.js and a page.js, I think. Yeah. So we need something, we need like an API. But let's do an API, you know, app instead of /manage or /practice. Let's do an API /flashcards /route.ts. Yeah. So this one should export an async function with the method name that you want to handle, which is get in our case. Export async function get, and it's going to take the requests. Inside we can, you know, grab like search parameters, etc. or basically, yeah. Oh, hold on a second. Yeah, it has search parameters. What are the search parameters going to be? Product /API /routes. There's not like dynamic segments. There are no dynamic segments being handled. Yeah, a page and a route in the same level will show in as a conflict, because the page, in a way, it is a route that handles the get routes, but it has its own implementation by Next.js under the hood. This works, but we need a dynamic segment. We need a dynamic segment, so that would be API /categories /ID /flashcards. If we want to be, you know, fully, you know, restful. So let's do that. API /categories /ID and then /flashcards. And I'm gonna, oh damn, no. I'm gonna delete this. Do the ID, but as a folder, and then copy, cut this one and move it there. There we go. All right, so /API /categories /the category ID /flashcards. If you do a get on that, it'll return all of the flashcards for you. That makes sense now. Now we can, I believe, get the ID. Well, yeah, search parameters is like the query. $ID equals something. But we wanted to handle the dynamic segment like this. And it would give us parameters or not. Let's see. Dynamic route segments. Oh yeah, there we go. So we have the request, but we can also have parameters here. Yeah, there's a request, but it also has params, and we need to define our own type. Is going to be an ID of string. Yeah, now we have the category ID. Parse integer params.id with the base of 10. Now we can say category equals await, not Prisma, but like helpers, but we need to import everything is helpers from Prisma helpers. Get categories, get category by ID. There we go. If it doesn't exist, we want to do a 404, of course. Oh, hold on a second. Do we handle responses like that inside of route handlers? Or should we return response? There we go. You see that? Response. Return response, and it knows what response is, but there is a problem. That's a JSON. Does it have like a... That's data init. What's inside init? Status. Yeah. 404. The body is going to be a category not found. This is how we return data from route handlers. Route handlers are APIs in Next.js. And we're going to be performing a fetch on this API, and it's going to return us all of the flashcards. So we have the... there we go. Cohort. No. Const flashcards equals get flashcards by category ID, which is cool, but it doesn't exist. So let's just go here inside of the helpers file. Yep, it doesn't exist. So let's do that. We're going to be creating a new method by category ID, get the category ID, and that's it. Yeah. And Copilot makes it, makes it boring sometimes. But these are the flashcards. All we need to do is just return response.json. I don't believe we don't need to return 200. I think it's by default 200. So here's the category, and then here are all the flashcards as well. So here we want to do a fetch on /API/category/category ID/flashcards. Okay, and this is not going. We're not going to wait this. It's not going to be the give me the data here. No, just like make the promise. Make the promise here, and we're going to pass the promise through the props into a different component, which is going to be, suspended. That's what we want to do. And then we'll use the use method to unwrap the promise and render the UI. This is also a client component. So there's the promise. We want to return a suspense boundary, flashcards. Maybe we want to pass the promise, and inside it's going to contain both the category and all the flashcards. So, and the fallback is going to be like a spinner thingy, maybe. I think it has a spinner. Actually, no, a spinner component is a loader icon like this one that has a class name of animate spin. That's all. There's a fallback. So now let's create the flashcards component. It's going to be a client component. Flashcards. We're going to grab the flashcards promise. Okay. It's going to be a promise, not of a response. We need the type for this case, but basically, we want to do this now. Response equals use, but just use that new function in React, flashcard response. And this is going to be just response, but we'll define the type now. Actually, let's define it from within the function itself. We're not even using the request here. Yeah, it's all right. promise of response, but then the response dot JSON returns. I guess that's promise of response. That is the response. Yeah. And now we want to do, category and flashcards. And we want to unwrap this. Actually, it does that for you. The use function does that for you. Let's go to the React 19 div. No. We'll go back to the 18, but I think it's in React API use. There we go. It's experimental, but the new version Next.js says that it's not, so we'll use it. Okay. So for example, there's a promise. We can pass a promise and it'll return us the result. And I believe it's also going to unwrap the JSON and stuff. Prefer async in server components, of course, async await, but in client components, the use API function is being used. Let me just see how we can unwrap. Maybe I should like do another use, you know, like this, maybe, because JSON returns a promise of any, and we want to use the use API on this promise as well, so that we can unwrap category and flashcards, you know. Yeah, we also need to handle error state. It might return a 404 and we want to handle that, but I'm just going to put it to do at the time being. So now we should have the category and flashcards. I'm going to return a list where we just map through the flashcards and just show them here, you know. And this doesn't have a type now, so we want to, we want to do a type where category is a category and flashcards is a flashcard array. And it's not the front, it's actually the question. Okay, now we have the flashcards component. We're going to bring in flashcards here. Do you think this is going to work? Let's see. Let's go and see which of these categories have like multiple. Event loop is Node.js, I believe. And what is Node? Yeah, let's go with Node.js. Go to practice. Node.js. Did we hook that up? We didn't. So when we hit play, we want to set we want to render the session. And this is gonna be stupid, but let's do session started. It's gonna be false by default unless we hit that button. This one. Set session started. True. And then below the card, we are going to do session started and render the session component with the selected category. And we should also get the shuffle value here. And it's going to be a Boolean. We'll figure out how we can use it. Okay, the moment of truth. Node.js, hit play, loader, error. Okay, we saw something happening. Anyways, we're getting there. We're getting there. First one I want to do is add a gap here of like maybe 6 or maybe more. Let's do 12 now, so that the the flashcards will appear a bit, lower. And now let's see what the error is. Yeah. Unexpected end of JSON input here. But let's visit. Oh, look at that. What is that? It's going crazy. Body stream already read. Oh, look at that. Beautiful error. So it means that, we don't need to pass. Where are we? Flashcards. We don't need to pass this part right here. This is the response. And I'm just gonna remove this and just do flashcards promise. Well, that doesn't look like. Okay, I'm gonna comment this out, and then we'll get inside and we'll see what happens, okay? Reload here, select Node.js, go to the network first. I want to see what the request is going to be like. 500, see? It errors out. What's the error? Internal server. Yeah, look at that. We have a whole bunch of errors here. Cannot read properties of undefined, reading ID. Hey, baby, thanks for the sub. Cannot read properties of undefined. That's here inside. So apparently params is undefined. Well, of course, because it's, goddammit. The request is the first argument. Let's try that again. Node.js, hit play, 200, this is gone. Now we can bring back this probably, and this probably. Did you see that? Node.js, hit play, reload, bam. Flashcards. Okay. Yo, this is success. It's like so freaking easy. We're just, just building the app here. Beautiful. Okay. We have a bunch of stuff here. We also need to pass down the shuffle as well. Because the logic of, showing the cards is going to be here. We'll figure it out. But yeah, we have the flashcards here, right? We want to create a new array of displayed flashcards that are either going to be the response itself or are going to be passed through the shuffle function that we already have in our utilities. Okay? So, displayed flashcards equals, check this out. If shuffle is true, then we want to invoke shuffle array. See, it knows that we have that function. Otherwise, we'll just pass flashcards. And this one lives in the utilities. Smart. And what's wrong with this one? Doesn't exist on type. Okay, because there's a typo. I read shuffle and I wanted to say typo and I said typo. Displayed flashcards. Now we have the displayed flashcards, right? And instead of mapping through this, we want to map through these. So Node.js hit play. What is Node.js? What is event loop? Node.js shuffle and hit play. What is event loop? What is Node.js? If there were like multiple flashcards in this case, we would see a whole bunch of, we would see their order different. Now we're up to this point, right? Let's see if I hit react. Oh, so it automatically reloads. We don't even need to hit the start practice session. Well, we can use this, right? If that's the case, then we can like move this button here at the center and keep this, so when we press that button, it just goes away. That's all. Yeah, that looks better. Go back to practice session. And this part right here, cut it out and make this a ternary. And instead of a button with the size icon, I want to say start practice session. How that look like? And we also need to, you know, make some room here. Margin right 2. That looks good, right? So first we want to select these. So Node.js, shuffle, start practice session, bam. And now when we like update the category, the session itself automatically restarts. Beautiful. Yeah. What is React? What is JSX? Let's try that again. What is virtual DOM? What is JSX? What is React? Shuffling works. I'm going to close the shuffle now. Oh, look at that. Interesting. So this is it. Yeah, we need memoization here. Why? Because when we hit the shuffle, it changed, right? It changed this, and then it needed to, not memoization though, and it basically re-rendered the session. But why does it say failed to execute JSON? Probably because of the use. It's already cached. This is the session. This didn't change because it's still the same category. Okay. So I guess this needs to be memoized to only re-render based on the category, but not on the shuffle field. Because if you hit shuffle, let's reload. If you're here, you know, and if you hit shuffle, then you wanna like start a new. Interesting. But yeah, definitely we want to memoize session to only re-render when the category changes, but not the shuffle, to prevent that issue from happening. But we still need to figure out how do we reload the shuffle. It's either that, or when we start a session, the card itself here might implement the shuffle. Yeah. And then it can restart itself from inside. Let's actually do that. Let's move shuffle. That way we won't even have, you know, prop drilling. Kill the shuffle from here, kill the shuffle from here, and don't pass anything down. Go to the session. Don't expect a shuffle. Render this, the flashcards. And yeah, basically we can do the shuffle here. Yeah, for now, I'm gonna remove it. And I'm always gonna shuffle. But we need to go back to solve that, okay? Yeah, shuffle the display flashcards, display them here. Cool. Now we just have this lonely box. Next.js, start practice session. React, there we go. Node.js, there we go. And the card itself, there's gonna be a card here that's gonna have like multiple actions there, like a shuffle or next, reveal. We can move the shuffle there and we'll figure it out. Let's work on that card now. Aside from this, we need to keep track of where we are in terms of the displayed card, right? Because we don't want to display we don't want to display the flashcards twice. If I answer that question, that should go into the pile and never come back, you know? And that's why we need like an order, or like current flashcards or remaining flashcards. Yeah, something like that. Not like that. Order, step. Let's go with step then. Yeah, set step instead of use. We want to do use state. Bring it in and always start with the 0, but we're going to be incrementing this when we hit on that next button. And the displayed flashcard is going to be displayed flashcards on the current step. That's all. So in here, we want to bring in a card component, a cards header, card title, where the displayed flashcards of the step will show the question, and then a card content where we are going to render the accordion. Let's just see the API of the accordion component real quick. Accordion, and there's an item inside which has a trigger and a content. That's all. Accordion item. Bring it in. Accordion trigger is going to be a fixed one. Reveal answer. And then accordion contents. That's where we're going to say displayed flashcards from step.answer. The accordion has a type. It's going to be single always. It is going to be collapsible. And it has like a class name. We'll figure it out. Value of the item is going to be probably the answer. It doesn't matter, you know. But let's just say displayed flashcards step the slug. Actually, yeah, let's use the slug of that flashcard. And then we'll have a card footer, and inside of the footer we'll place those actions. We'll do the shuffle. We might do like a restart session, etc. We can do those things there. I'm gonna create a div. Actually, no. I'm just gonna start adding buttons. There's one button. And this button is going to be next. And also have let's just use an icon. Let's see if we import next from Lucid. Do we actually have anything? No, it's probably an arrow right, arrow left. We want to say arrow right, but not that arrow. Kind of want like a different kind of arrow. Let's see. Paul, you're late. That's all right. We pretty much completed the full app. Let's see. We're picking arrows now. What arrow? This one looks cool for like a next card. I don't know. I don't want to use this one. Move or or the ordinary arrow? It looks too plain. I think we need something else here. And let's use, yeah, let's use the arrow big right. This one. Which one? This one, right? Yeah, this one looks pretty good. Arrow big right. The type is going to be, not the type, the variant is gonna be, let's go with outline, and the size is gonna be icon. Okay, let's go back now. I think we're all zoomed in, but let's go Next.js, start practice session. Let's actually zoom back in. What is Next.js? And the point is that we're going to answer the question now. We're going to say Next.js is a React framework. It's a meta framework that, you know, allows you to pick the rendering strategy for all of your pages, whether you want SSR, you know, answer it as you want. And then in order to reveal, you know, or validate that you answered correctly, you click on this. Next.js is a React framework. Cool. And then you click on the next. And the next button, first of all, should be here. And then it should only be enabled after we see the answer. You know, we want to, yeah, we want to do that. This whole card needs a size, like a fixed size. So let's do width is full and max width is like small. Yeah. That's good. Even if the question is like too, maybe medium as well. Yeah. Yeah. Good. We want to listen for the event when the accordion opens. Maybe we should listen to this one instead. Let's see the API. Because that's when we want to enable the button. Oh, we actually need these. Extend the keyframes and the animation. Let's see if they get automatically added. Font family colors, border, keyframes, accordion, up and down. Yeah, they did actually get added. Cool. I'm really curious to see if there is an API that we can use. Single props. Value, default value on value change. There we go. When the state of the accordion changes. On value change. Let's go back then. On value change. And I'm just going to console log this one just to see, you know, what it looks like, what it outputs. Let's go to sources. Next.js hit starts. Bam. Component was suspended by an uncached promise. Creating promises inside a client component or hook is not yet supported, except via suspense compatible library or a framework. See? We had an error, but we didn't know. So creating components, creating promises inside a client component is not yet supported. That means you create the promise on the server side. We do have that, but we're creating the promise on the client side. Yeah. Check this out. This is where, what was that? Yeah. This is a client component session. And this is where we're creating, you know, this is where we're creating that. So we basically need suspense compatible library, like use query, for example. So let's bring in use query then. Yeah. Then stack query. There's a query client. There's a provider, which we can add in our layout. React query, yeah. That's all. Yeah, so let's bring in React query. Let's go to the layout to add the... There's also an ESLint. Yeah, we use ESLint. Yeah. Why am I refreshing this one? So we need to create a new query client and wrap everything with that provider so that inside we can, we can just use fetch our, use our queries here. Use mutation, use queries, etc. So that would be bodies. That would be the body. Query provider. Query client provider. But first we need to create it. Okay, apparently types are being weird. So let's just manually import them from then stack query. We want to have the query client provider, and that's all I think for now. Yeah. So let's create that query client provider. And then go here, add the client, wrap everything, close it. There we go. So we have our whole app enabled with the query client. This should be a query now. Get to dos is going to be the function. So here, instead of a fetch, we want to see how we can do this with a suspense. Not just, and I believe we can just do that inside. Maybe we won't need this component in the middle called session. Use suspense query. Okay, there is a different hook that does that. Here's what we're gonna do. This is the session. I believe we can put the suspense on the session, render the flashcards immediately, and just use a suspended query inside of the flashcards directly. So we're gonna get rid of this component, like completely. We'll go back to practice session. Here's our session. Where is it? Here's our session. I'm gonna move the suspense here. Damn it. There we go. Like this. I'm going to also move flashcards here, but instead of the promise, we're gonna send the category. About that, let's bring in these icons and thingies. There we go. So now we can delete the session and modify the flashcards. Instead of fetching the promise, I'm gonna bring in category, which is gonna be a simple category from the database. And this is where we're gonna be using the query. Okay. Selected category. There we go. So we have an error here. Oh yeah, there's no session now. This is good. This is happy. This is happy as well. Uh, we're gonna grab the flashcards in a different way using use suspense query. Nice. So we'll bring in data, use suspense query. The key or query key is actually, no, it's not a key, it's a query key. It's gonna be unique for the category. And the key is a string. Oh, it's a query key. What is a query key? It's an object probably with some stuff inside. No, it's an array of probably strings. So we'll do category.slug flashcards. Okay, this is for the caching. So when we fetch the Next.js flashcards, we don't want to, make the same API request again. That's why we're tagging the query with this key. So there's the key, and we also need the function now. Query fn. And that's where we're going to be doing API no / category or categories. Yes, categories. This category / flashcards. There we go. It's a get. We just want to return probably that, and the data is going to be of type category and flashcards. So we can do this. Flashcards is data.flashcards as an array of flashcards. Okay, if there's an error, it'll tell us. Let's do a reload now. Yeah, a whole bunch of errors. Only plain objects and a few built-ins can be passed to client components from server components. Classes or null properties are not supported. Okay, we kind of messed up the server tree, the component tree in a way. Let's see. First, we have a practice session, and this is a client component. And let me just clean up those. Yeah, the page is the topmost. The page is a server component, and it passes down all the categories. Well, how is this? Oh, it errors out. No. That is the error, actually. Here's that component. So practice is inside practice session. And it's a client component. And it has a suspense and a flashcards. This is the flashcards, which is also a... Well, that's weird. How can we debug this now? Maybe it's... Wait a minute. Maybe it's this part right here. Yeah, it says object to JSON. That's where it fails, but it's in the... It's like probably in the framework itself. On the key. Yeah, let's see. The query key, probably? Is that what you're thinking? There's a stringify. Let's see what is the query key? Yeah, that's it. It's a to-dos and get to-dos in his case. In Tanner's case is a function from a file called myAPI. So it shouldn't be that, right? Category.slug is a string dash string. This evaluates as a string. Then we have this, which basically fetches this response, and maybe I should do await, but I think it should still be okay. Yeah. There's a not found error boundary. This is not helping us. Anyway. App router, and that's it. Okay, so I'm just gonna comment this out and see if we can render the page. No, we can't. I'm gonna comment this whole block and see if we can, you know, render the page. No, we can't. Oh, hold on a second. Hold on a second. Hold on a second. Layouts. We had a query client provider with this thing right there. That is the situation. But let me see how we can create that provider on the server. Query client provider. Maybe we should say a query server. To provide a query client. New query client. Render the app. This is client side. Oh, it has to support. How to use query client provider in React, so in server components. With and past the query client. App wrapper, and it's not a. God damn it. React query client provider server components, you know, app router SSR. There we go. Supports. There we go. Let's see. Server rendering. Oh, look at that. Yeah, it has to be on a. It has to be in a client component. See that? But that's the pages router. How about the app router? There has to be. Man, I'm losing patience here. Hydration API, pages router. Guys, app router. Nobody uses the pages router anymore. React query Next.js app router. Advanced server rendering. Yeah. We won't cover in depth here. Blah, blah. Yeah. providers, and that's where we make a query client. Do the thingy, make query client, browser query client. So this is like a singleton. And then providers, and then you do that. Yeah, it has to be a client component. So, okay, cool. No big deal. Here's the layout. Providers.tsx, use client. Doesn't change our, thing, because when you pass server components through the children prop in client components, they're going to remain server components. Export default function providers. We are going to have the children prop here. Return. That's where we're going to do query client provider children. And now, yeah, let's do this, I guess. There's the query client type. Make query client is just a function that does this. Stale time. And this is 1 minute. With SSR, we usually want to set some default stale time above 0 to avoid refetching immediately on the client. So yeah, let's keep it at 1 minute. It's all right. Then there's an isServer that comes from the library itself. And now we should just say query client is get query client, and then render it and pass it to the provider. That would work. Client equals query clients. So now we should go back to the layout. And instead of doing these things here, we should just render providers. There we go. Providers. Let's see if that works. Of course it does work. Yeah. Okay, cool. Next.js. When I hit start practice session, we should see that spinner loading. It does load, but it errors out. Oh, look at that. Next.js flashcards. 500 server error. Yeah, it pretty much blew up. But let's see why. ID is missing. What do you mean ID is missing? Okay, I want to debug this. Debug full stack. That looks good. Let's go to the route, put a breakpoint here, and start a debugging session so that we can see, what gets sent, what we can pull from the request, etc. I'm just gonna hit reload now. We're gonna see the page like this. Next.js, hit start practice session, and there we go. So parameters, there is an ID, but it's a slug. It's not the ID, it's the slug, right? We actually need the ID. When did we change that? This is when we changed it. Because inside of the route, we do get a category by ID, and that's all right. Let's still debug this, just to, so we're sure that the issue is fixed. Let's reload again. There we go. Why don't you create an endpoint that serves that, fetches that data from the DB? Well, it does that. Yeah, this is the endpoint. The route. It fetches the category ID. Yeah, does the whole thing. Start practice session. Now we can see that it's 4, but I'm going to parse it as an integer so that it's 4. Give me the category. There's a category, Next.js. That's correct. Give me all of the flashcards now. It's just one. Thank you very much. And now just return flashcards and the whole. So there we go. What is Next.js? Reveal answer. Beautiful. And we're logging this out. Oh yeah, we added a log point. Yeah. So when the value is undefined, this should be disabled. When the value is whatever or matches the flashcard, we're gonna enable this. Let's try switching to JavaScript. As we can see, the get automatically got pinged, so that's good. Move on. What is the DOM? That's the DOM. Let's move on to Tailwind. What is Tailwind? This actually works, right? And you see that we didn't refetch. Yeah, the debugger is I would say the most important tool. Like I love this. It's the smart way and to save time. Yeah. You see that, for example, let's go back to JavaScript now. But there shouldn't be any gets. Let's go back to Tailwind. See? It's not marked as, and there we go. Now it's marked as stale. So now we're going to refetch this. But for some time there, we didn't fetch any of these, requests when we change the categories. Look at that. I mean, these are changing. What is virtual DOM? What is Next.js? What are closures? What is Next.js? What is React? And now it gets marked as stale. So it makes the, it makes the request again. Okay. That's good. That's very good. Let's move on. I'm going to stop the debugger. npm run dev again, just so we can be faster. Are you caching or this automatically takes care of it? Yeah, the React query does the whole caching automatically. And if we go to providers, you'll also see that we have a configuration for the stale time. I'm not sure if it was a minute. It wasn't really a minute, but yeah, if we make this a really long, like a really big number, then it would fetch the first time, cache it out, and wait all that time before it, invalidates the cache and pulls in the new data. And for this type of app, we definitely want to have like a bigger number. Well, we can just like stay here for the time. Next.js has a similar thing for caching. Yeah. Especially for the route handlers right here. I know that it's going to cache it. I'm not sure if there we go. We are inside of the caching section right here. Route handlers are cached by default when using the get method with the response object. That's what we're doing. Opting out of caching, using the request object with the get method. Wait, what? I'll use the requests. Yeah, we're not using the requests, but we are using segments inside of these routes. See? We are using segments. I'm not sure if it's going to be cached. We don't use cookies. We don't use headers. We don't use any other HTTP methods. We have only the get. Segment config options. We don't have these as well. I guess we need to build the Next.js app and see. Let's check that. Because I'm curious. npm run builds. Let's see what is the symbol. Nothing, because it errors. Oh, this is Sentry. Project not found. Yeah. This is Sentry, but we don't have Sentry configured anywhere. Actually, we do have Sentry configured here. We don't have a DSN. We don't even have a token. Yeah, this is an old one. It's from the old app. That's the case. Project not found. Yeah, all these things. I need a new project and I need, there's a DSN. Yeah, let me just create one real quick. I'm gonna go here, projects, create a new project. It's gonna be a Next.js project. Flashcards v2. And I'll create the alerts later. Now we're going to invoke the wizard. Go for it. And the wizard itself is going to do the thing for us. Yes, Sentry says I do have a Sentry account. There's my Sentry account. And it's Flashcards v2. Update it, why not? Yeah, just do this so we can build it. Do you want to tunnel route? Yeah, definitely. Don't override that. Don't override that. Don't override that. Go for it. Do we want an example page? No. CI/CD tools to deploy Vercel. Yeah. And we need to get that auth token, and I'm also going to reload that auth token. Yeah, done. Okay, npm run build now. Oh, we have errors now here. So I'm just gonna flashcards v2. Yeah, it's the same thing. We're just gonna do this. Yeah. I'm gonna kill the API key in the meantime, the token. There we go. Oh yeah, pages old. I'm just gonna delete the whole thing because we don't care about them anymore. And even the source alt, we're basically done with that, right? Oh, hold on a second. Source alt, maybe that contained components. We don't want them. Hooks. Yeah. Build it again. Yeah, I just invalidated it. God damn it. I shouldn't have. All right, then. I'm going to create a new one real quick and bring it back to the project. And then I'm going to show you the screen again. Sorry about that. Create a new token. Name is gonna be Flashcards v2. Copy this thing. There it is. Done. Okay. npm run dev. We have a valid token. We have deleted the old. No, we actually have more issues. We shouldn't be doing this, damn it. Cannot read properties of undefined reading Prisma. Sentry server config. Oh, yeah. This is the Prisma integration. We updated the API. It's just .prisma integration. Integration. And then pass the client. Should we pass the client? Oh yeah, there is no client inside. Okay then. Very cool. That was a server. We don't have anything in the edge config. Let's try that again. Oh, come on. All right, you know what? This is not the time and space to do the Sentry config. I was keeping that for the last. I'm just gonna like delete everything Sentry related because this is from the old configuration. We don't want to do that. At least we don't want to do that now. So I'm just gonna scrape everything. So blame Sentry for this. Let's see the next config. This is what we want to add, and then we're going to, we're gonna go back to Sentry a bit later. Okay. Let's see next config. It uses the, oh yeah, it also had the redirect. We want to bring this back. Not sure about the strict modes. But yeah, redirects are cool. We need that to move to the manage screen. Global error and instrumentation as well. Yeah, this is going to be added later. And instrumentation registers the Next.js instrumentation stuff. I need to look into that better. Now let's build it. Beautiful. It's building. Yeah, so it is dynamic. Let me zoom in. The API categories ID flashcards, as you can see, has the dynamic server render on demand. So it is not cached. It's not cached because we're using the dynamic segments. Okay. We confirmed that it's not cached. Where did we stop? We were going to do something. Oh yeah, do this thing, basically. Okay. Streams were, I was supposed to end the stream now, but I feel like streaming, so let's just keep streaming. We have the step, we have everything here. There's the button, there's the accordion on value change. So what I want to say is this. I'm going to control the accordion. Yeah. A value is going to be, yeah, the accordion's value is actually a string. So when you have like multiple items and you set the value to be that specific string, that's when you show that value. But let's just do this. Displayed flashcards step.slug, otherwise undefined. That should work. And in this case, we want to grab the new value and set it to true or false. This is going to work now. Now, since we have the answer shown, we can do disabled on the button when the answer is not shown, right? Start a practice session. The button is disabled. I'm going to click on the accordion to reveal the answer, and now the button is enabled. Bless you. Okay. This is good. So now when we click on this button, we want to close the accordion because it's going to remain open. Close the accordion and change the displayed flashcard. Change the step basically. So let's see. Next step. How does it know? How does Copilot know what we want to do? First, set answer shown. We want to set that to false. So that when we do that, this is going to become undefined. Then we want to do set step plus 1. And not S. I'm just going to do S in this case because that's also the name of the actual value. There we go. Next step. And actually that's it. Right? Let's see. JavaScript. Let's go to Node.js. Start practice session. What is Node.js? I can't go to the next one. This is Node.js. Oh, look at that. It moved to the next question. This is wild. That should not be happening. Next step is only being... That is wild. Why is that happening at all? See? The questions are changing when we toggle on the... That should not be happening. Like, the accordion has nothing to do with the step. The step is being changed just once. And that's it. How is the... Hold on a second. Shuffle array. There it is. This needs to be memoized. Based on the category. Or based on the flashcards. That's what's happening. It's still the same question, but it's the different order. Let's try that again. Yeah. Exactly. So now we're toggling this. But if I want to go to the next question, bam, what is the DOM? There's like a little sneak peek there. You see that? I think we can use transitions for that. We can't actually use transition for that. Or can we? Let me just see real quick. Use transition. Is a React hook that lets you update the state without blocking the UI. All right. Is pending in start transition? No, I just want to start transition directly from React DOM, I think. And we can do this and then doesn't return anything. How do we do this then? Maybe I should just do this then. You know? Because I don't want it to like peak a little bit. So we open this and we hit next. Yeah, we don't see the answer. And now we can see the answer. Okay, cool. And of course, we're at the end. So we should also, next step should also take into account that it's the end, my friend. All right, so we have next step here. We're gonna put it on the right side. On the left side, we can show that little, progress. Let's do that real quick. And I'm gonna wrap this in a div. Exactly, progress. And then I'm gonna do a class name on the footer itself and do justify between. This is exactly what I wanted to do. What is JS? First of the three questions. Second one is what is DOM. Third one is what are closures. That's it. And now we should, we should probably like change the icon of the actual button because we've reached the end. Whether we, throw confetti or not, doesn't really matter. But we should definitely take into account this. When we hit next step, we should restart it. Set the step to 0. And set the step to 0 and then update the displayed flashcards, or just let's see this. If step is the last one, set it to 0 and do an early return. Let's see the actual experience. Card number 1, card number 2, card number 3. Bam. Oh yeah, we need to also hide the answer. And if we're at the end, instead of arrow being right, we're gonna do like a reload type of thing, you see? If step is the, there we go. And so instead of next, we wanna use this component. And instead of restart, we wanna do like a reload icon. Let's see, no, restarts. I'm looking at the preview here. Let's go to Lucid and look for restarts. Rotate. Okay, yeah. Rotate. Counterclockwise. Not restart. There we go. All right, let's see this. JavaScript starts. Reveal this. Go to the next one. Reveal this. Go to the next one. And now we have the restarts action. Yeah. And now if we restart it, we're back to card 1, and we can decide if we want to change up the, yeah, and now we can even see that this is only 1, and that's it. Okay, we did actually manage, to pull the MVP at least in time with like 11 minutes overtime, because I was planning to finish it by 1 p.m. and now it's 1:11. But we made it. I mean, we don't have the shuffle functionality. This is just the MVP, right? You can now go create your cards. You can go to the practice session. You can practice all your cards. They're all going to be shuffled by default. And you can use this app. Now the app is usable, right? Oh, did you see that? When we check this out, we're on the second answer, right? We're gonna go to Node.js. We're still on the second one, so we need to fix that. When this gets re-rendered, the category, when that changes, the step should also change. And the answer should be false. Is that a use effect type of scenario? Category. So when the category changes, we want to set the step to 0 and set answer shown to false. Now let's try that again. Start JavaScript, go to like the second answer. Now let's move on to Node.js. There we go, firsts. And it was also, let's go back to JavaScript now. There we go, different question, still on the first. So that also works now. I believe we kind of made it, right? Reload, it's always shuffled by default, I know. But then it just works, It's looking good. Yeah, let's push this. I'm gonna push this. Clean up old project, plus remove Sentry, but most importantly, finished practice screen. It's a big commit. There we go. V2 is already updated. You can check it out. And that's about it. The only thing that's left is to set up Sentry. See if we want to like do the the shuffle or not. I believe even if we like leave the shuffle on, we're not gonna be selling this or this. It's just a demo, But what's important is that we managed to finish this in 1 workday. Because I streamed 3 hours on Monday, 2 hours on Wednesday, that's 5, and 3 hours today, that's 8. We basically spent a day to make this app. Of course, we did work with a previous project. We reused a lot of these things. We reused the models. We reused the... Yo, Aaron, how's it going, man? Yeah, so with the models already set up, with the Prisma helpers set up as well, although if you see them, they're not really, like super complicated. So yeah, it's like 100 lines of code, basically. Not even sure if we're using all of these as well. So we had already these set up. We had the models set up. But we updated to the latest Next.js. We refactored the whole thing, and all of the screens were done, from scratch. And also the server actions and etc. So like, yeah, 8 hours. We have a working flashcards app that is, pretty basic, but can you use it to learn things, to study? Of course. Bam. You see that? Beautiful. What is that? It doesn't have the displayed flashcards on that step, does not have that question because let's see. We'll start with JavaScript. We'll go to the last answer. So the step is number 2. Now let's go to Node.js or Tailwind because there's like only one question. There it is. Let's fix that real quick. Oh, you know what? We are going to... Did you manage to make it all RSCs and server actions? Yeah, we only have one endpoint because we need to make an API requests from the clients. And we're passing the category ID so that we can fetch all the flashcards. And that happens here when we change the categories. So start session fetches the flashcards for the JavaScript. Now, if we go to, for example, Node.js, you see that little spinner again. It fetches the Node.js flashcards. That is the only like non-server action, but everything else is a server action. And using them really sped up things. I have an actions.ts file. Yeah, I have an actions.ts, and here's the create category. We receive the form data, easy peasy, you know, like unpack the data, do the validations, generate stuff, use the helpers, you know, to interact with the DB, and then just revalidate the screen once you do like the mutation. But that's all. Yeah. 238 lines of the API plus this one, 220 lines. So it's like 300 lines worth of backend. And this is looking good. Yeah, I'm going to leave this bug, by the way. This one. I'm going to leave it because at the workshop, bam. At the workshop, people will need to use the app to have Sentry set up to their profile, you know, and then they're going to use the app and, you know, figure out where the error is, etc., etc. No, I mean, you set up, does Sentry have any RC specific features? It doesn't. I think you just set up, you know, you just set up the SDK and the monitoring is automatically being done for you. So you'll have one page load event or transaction for example, for this one. And if you're using any server components, they're going to be part of the page component. And you'll have like a nice trace view where you can see how they get executed. We can demo that. Believe we can do a stream either on Monday or sometime next week. But we'll see. We'll figure it out. All right, so we did it. I didn't think that, honestly, I thought that we weren't gonna make it. But yeah, the modern technologies do actually help a lot when it comes to, you know, speed of developing and making new features. So we literally spent 8 hours and 20 minutes. These past 20 minutes we've just been talking. We literally spent 8 hours with talking and explaining things to basically build this app with a little bit of help from the previous project. But it is possible. We built a full stack flashcards application with the UI from scratch using RSCs and, you know, TypeScript and Prisma and SQLite in 8 freaking hours. I love that. I love that. So it is possible, yeah. And we'll see about next week. We might do some more streaming to set up Sentry to basically just prepare this project for the workshop that, you know, I'm going to be doing. But overall, the project is done. Even if you don't use Sentry, you can put this in your resume. All right, so I'm going to bolt now because I'm starting to get hungry and I also need my second coffee for the day. Thank you all for tuning in. This was a really cool experiment. See if we can, you know, build a full stack app in 8 hours. And we did. Congratulations to all of us. Pay attention to my channel. I might whip up some videos from, you know, what we learned, etc. Might not, we'll see about the inspiration, but we're gonna keep streaming. We're gonna figure out other topics as well. I saw that Astro pushed some really cool stuff. Maybe we can update, you know, work on updating the course that I have with the new features. We might do some Astro stuff as well. Astro is really cool. Astro is definitely really cool. So we might do that. But yeah, we'll stay in touch. All right. If you haven't joined my Discord, I would definitely recommend you do. And you can find that on creatures.dev. Although I might change the domain to creatures.sh very soon. So if this doesn't work, try the .sh. Okay. This is our Discord community. Join it. We always talk technology in there. And yeah, I'm going to post about my next streaming in my Discord server. So yeah, thank you again for tuning in. This was a really fun experiment. Full stack app in 8 hours. I'm proud of ourselves. Not myself, ourselves, because we all did it. So yeah, again, thanks for tuning in, everyone. It was really fun. And I will catch you in the next stream. Okay? Take care.